My name is Cassidy Church. I have 4 kids in this program. Sorry. They're my why. And that's why I love this program when we're talking about a linked program. But I'm going to introduce myself. I have 4 kids, 3 of which are girls. You guys might have seen my oldest, who just got her Eagle. She's Eagle Scout of the Year. We're from a tiny town, and her brother's following quickly in her footsteps, and she's paving the way for her 2 younger sisters to achieve their Eagle rank as well. And that's just kind of me and my husband. We both are very involved in scouting.
I'm Rachel. I live in St. George, and I'm part of a girl troop as well. And it's been a really fun and big deal to bring scouts to girls and girls to scouts, and it's just a lot of fun.
You were going to talk about this morning stuff.
I can't remember.
Okay. So this morning, with the presentation that they had this morning, kind of
use the mic, he's telling me.
Oh, sorry. The linked model that was presented this morning about I assume it was wood badge, correct? Or okay, yes. So Rachel was there. She was kind of talking about that, but that's what we're going to be talking about. This linked troop idea. We're going to kind of go into detail a little bit about that. First, I'd like to just kind of give you guys a little bit of a history lesson. How many of you guys have heard the first story of the blue and gold? Clear back in the 30s. I know that's super old for some of us. Actually, the story that I found last year, I was teaching a presentation on blue and gold in University of Scouting and trying to find that history of how did we get this blue and gold. I think typically we think of, Baden Powell's birthday, we're going to celebrate, have our cake auction, all of those things, right? It, however, was started by Pac 1 in Chicago in the suburbs. The moms were the den mothers, and they needed those fathers involved. And they're like, we're going to host a banquet, but how do we get these dads to be here? They have to make their utensils, and that's how they're going to eat at this spaghetti dinner. So the dads had to build the utensils with the scout. And it got that father involved in it, and it continued on. And one thing that was important to note that was during the Great Depression. Things were hard, times were hard. And with the Cub Scout motto of do your best, these Cub Scouts and these families learned that they were doing that. They were doing their best with what they could, whittling skills, or they were learning more, they were testing it out because that's what they were going to eat their spaghetti dinner with together. And then, of course, it evolved into the family, and it became a whole unilateral kind of connected group. And I think that continued on for many, many years. How many of you guys attended your brother's Pinewood Derby? I know I did. Did I get to make a car? No, but now my daughters get to make their car. And my husband and I are both on all of the committees because right now we share committees. And that's kind of that linked troop model is we share committees. My husband's the committee chair of the girls troop, but we both serve on the boys troop committee. And my husband is the PAC committee chair, and I'm the Cub master. So we are linked together, but we work together. And I think that's kind of that model clear back from then, that we work together as a family. And our unit should be family-oriented and working together.
Chris Perry had mentioned and acknowledged the differences between boys and girls. And there are a lot of cognitive differences. Generally, females show advantages in verbal fluency, perceptual speed, accuracy, fine motor, while males outperform females in spatial and working memory and mathematical abilities. There are social and emotional differences. Girls lead boys in the development of language skills. Boys are more advanced at visual tasks, while girls are able to pay attention for longer periods of time. The emotional development of girls is more advanced than boys, and they're more likely to express emotions verbally. There's evidence for significant gender differences overall, with girls expressing more positive emotions and more internalizing negative emotions, such as sadness and anxiety, than boys, and while boys express more and externalize their emotions, such as anger, differently than girls. There are differences in social development. Girls are more likely to value effort over the inherent ability, while the opposite is true of boys. Both genders place a value on social intelligence, with children more skilled at mature interaction, with peers and adults generally being more popular. Now, being mindful of differences in boys and girls is important. Now, being mindful is important. We approach learning and engagement differently. The Scouting program is neutral, and there is no need for changes or adaptations to the program or activities due to differences in gender. Just as Chris had mentioned, the girls go through the exact Trail to Eagle rigors and experiences requirements.
Okay, so having a link troop allows for both the boys and the girls to be connected as a part of a larger group. They're all scouts, we're all scouts, but it gives us a safe place to practice our scouting skills. While we've heard the differences of how boys and girls are different developmentally, they do need to interact with each other because we are part of a society. And part of the BSA's mission statement is to, create moral and ethical and citizenship, right? And we all have to work together. But allowing us to take into smaller groups where it's just a girl setting is going to give us the opportunity for those girls to move at their pace, that they maybe don't get the knots as easy as the boys do. And so they can take that time to really focus on that skill that they're learning. Whereas the boys might go really fast because it's easier for them developmentally to tie the knots and do those kinds of skills. So it's a way for them to create an independence. And whether it's physical or emotional or mental, we're able to keep their interests in line without having rivalry. Oh my gosh, rivalries, yes. So with the example with that is I'm currently helping with NYLT this year, and we model the linked troop method in NYLT. The boys and the girls come, we have 4 boy patrols, 3 girl patrols. They each have their own scoutmaster. They are able to have a large group meet together, and then they have smaller group sessions. So one of the sessions that they're doing is called problem solving, and we break off into the boys troop and the girls troop, and they have the opportunity to hear the lesson and given by their scoutmaster. And then they're able to build a tower with spaghetti sticks and marshmallows. This weekend, I got to see that demonstration with our NYLT staff meeting. And the difference that the boys and the girls had, the girls, they were like, let's make this marshmallow sticky. And the boys are like, let's just see if we can, just their spatial awareness. And the girls are more like, let's think of this scientifically. What are we going to do? How are we going to make this get together? And so the differences are wonderful, and they both bring so many good aspects to the table. But had they been together, I've seen it firsthand. When they are together, that girl might not have that voice that she would have had it been together. Or that boy was like, oh, that girl's really intimidating. That Cadence Church, man, I'm speaking of my daughter, she can really talk to a group. I don't know if any of you guys, Mr. Winterton's there laughing because he knows my daughter very well. I was going to say, I think Charles knows her too. Mr. Dahlquist, she's very vocal, but I think in a situation like that, it would maybe be very intimidating for the boys. And so being able to have that in their own perspective areas to learn those skills, to develop those skills by themselves is a stronger point. While we're linked, we still learn our skills separately. A really quick example about that is a couple weeks ago, I think it was in the end of January, I'm also obviously in Cub Scouts too. I have a 6-year-old, and we went to the firehouse, and the Weeblos were learning their first responder merit badge or pin. And the fire chief was up getting ready to do his presentation, and he says, when there's an emergency, what's the first thing you do? And mind you, this is a group of Cub Scouts. And every Cub Scout shot their hand up in the air because that's what they do. They want to talk. They want to be heard. And I'm sitting there, my daughter's in the front row, and she's raising her hand like, pick on me, pick on me. And I'm like, oh no, what's going to come out of her mouth? You know, Sunday school, you always wonder, what are they going to say in Sunday school or whatnot? Her response, she said, stay calm. I didn't teach her that. I mean, obviously she's learned it because she knows it. But those are skills that every person needs to hear. This 6-year-old that says, stay calm. How powerful is that? My kids have seen a lot of tragedy recently in the last couple of years, and they were able to stay calm. My teenagers put their father out that was on fire. And I 100% know, without a doubt, that was because of their scout skills. They were able to extinguish the fire that was on his body, pull off his clothes, and both of them are trained lifeguards as well as scouts. One's the Eagle now, one's on his path to Eagle. And they concluded together that Dad had 2nd and 3rd degree burns and they needed to get him to the hospital. They got him to the hospital, and they got him there quickly. They stayed with him because I wasn't with them at the time. Long story short, they reacted quickly, swiftly, and without hesitation because of these skills that we're teaching in Scouts. And these are the things that every person should be able to do. We need to be able to give these opportunities to every person. And having that linked Scout troop allows us to work together and be together as a family.
We agree fully, Chris Perry, that girl and boy troops need to stay separated. And the equal parts development, emotional development, social development, all of it is so important. And giving girls the space to grow and shine is so important, and not to be rivals without competition, without insecurity. And it's oftentimes, we think about when girls and boys are put in a race or put in a struggle or something. You know, if a boy beats a girl at a task or a physical challenge, a girl will take it in stride. Okay, he beat me. He's faster. He knew the answer, or he's more confident, right? The voice that sometimes goes away in co-ed groups. But if a girl beats a boy, that takes a bigger hit on his ego, his confidence, and his ability to meet his self-determination. And that impact has a consequence that I personally want nothing to do with, and the BSA would be smart not to either, because it's farther reaching in developmental measures than just the moment of being beat or humiliated or put on the spot. And I'm grateful that we are giving both girls and boys these amazing experiences, opportunities for learning, for development, but without those rivalries or competitions or insecurities. And And I do know Cadence, and she is a good talker.
She would say that's her very first favorite merit badge.
Communication. In terms of our approach, we are deeply committed to the aims of Scouting and consider character development, leadership development, citizenship training, and personal fitness in the planning and programming and learning opportunities for our girl troops. I have observed fantastic growth in many of the Scouts in our girl troop. We started with 10 and we are at 14 now. One Scout in particular, however, Kate, joined our troop at 11 and a half years old. And her first year of Scouting, I observed enormous clingy behavior, hesitancy to be away from her parents for campouts. She was very whiny, and she reacted negatively to the promptings and encouragement or directions given by her peer leaders or her adult Scout leaders. Kate came to patrol meetings weekly, but participated with hesitation, lack of confidence, and was generally ill at ease. So I'm basically I'm getting around to it was no fun. She was not having fun, and it was difficult for her and for those around her. She struggled to connect to others and was not making friends, nor was she progressing in rank or merit badge achievement. At the end of her first awkward year of Scouting, it was suggested to her that she consider running for a leadership position in our troop, and that she challenge herself to get more involved. Kate took that conversation to heart and was in fact interested. She ran for the role of patrol leader and she was elected. During the following year, Kate gained great confidence and became proficient in conducting meetings, including courts of honor, leading activities, and teaching new Scouts. She embraced servant leadership and has become a great friend and contributor to our troop. She has matured exponentially and really is not the same kid. And her connection to service and friendships has grown as well. I have been on the sideline there to cheer her on and observe her confidence grow as she has grown in the understanding and experiences in the Scouting program. I truly trust her ability to lead and participate now in meaningful ways. I'm grateful she's chosen Scouting as the method for this level of character and leadership development. Now, in the Troop Leader Guidebook, there's a comparison that the 8 methods of Scouts, BSA, to the comparison to an 8-cylinder engine. When all 8 pistons are firing, the car moves powerfully, yet smoothly toward its destination. When a few pistons get fouled, the car lurches haltingly along. And when only 1 or 2 pistons are firing, you might as well get out and walk. Just as in my observation of Kate, I acknowledge her personal growth, but I also reflect with appreciation how the aims and methods of Scouting are being exhibited in her growth. She's grown in her ability to associate with adults in positive and appropriate ways. She can measure herself against the ideals and has risen to the challenge to set goals and reach for them, taking control of who she is to become. Her personal growth is certainly very impressive, as is the development in leadership. Truly, in her case, all cylinders are firing as she's moving powerfully and smoothly, in contrast to her insecure, flighty, and very awkward start to Scouting.
Okay, so what she's talked about too is that we've obviously have to have good role models, and I'm sure that you guys can think of strong influences that you guys have had in your own Scouting experiences. We never know how far that ripple is going to go. I always like that metaphor of, throwing that pebble out. You don't know what how far it's going to reach. Examples of this are probably endless to a lot of us. Just recently, when Mary Jane was there, Cadence had her Eagle Court of Honor, and I didn't know she was going to do this, but my grandma, who is about 86 years old, watched her brothers get to go off to scout camp. And so that's they're my great uncles, I guess, or grand uncles. I don't know how you'd say that. Anyways, she got to watch them come out, and she had to do all the chores. And she gave that experience to us at her Cadence's Eagle Scout Court of Honor, how she wishes she could have been out camping with them and doing all the fun things that they were doing. And she continued the love for that program through her grandkids. My grandpa was an Eagle Scout. My dad was an Eagle Scout. Obviously, I'm not an Eagle Scout, but she continued that and instilled all of that through. And Cadence is her first granddaughter that got her Eagle. And Cadence gave her mentor pin, but it was more of, here's your Eagle Scout, Grandma, because she knew how important it was to her. And she knows the values of this program. The values that it develops in character, citizenship, leadership skills. It 100% has helped my daughter grow from where she was to where she is now, and she's continuing forth, as well as I see it in my younger girls as well, and my son. Just this week, he's come to me, and mind you, he has an IEP, but he's said, Mom, I want to do a harder math class. I want to do 2 next year. And because he has his IEP, he doesn't have to do this math class, but he's pushing himself. And I think it all comes back into these programs that we're all together. Now, if it would have just been a program that he went to and we didn't have a whole lot of influence in that, I think it would not have been as beneficial for him. But because we're all together, we're all working on the same goals, we're all working on the same skills, that it encourages him to put that out further than just the scouting experience. It pushes him to want to be more successful. And I strongly believe that that's what this program is designed for. And I think that that linked model is what will help our programs get stronger, help us to build. I love the example. He has 57 members in his committee. And if we linked our troops together and we have that link and we have all of those parents, yes, they've got multiple kids, but hey, wouldn't it be nice if you only have to go to 1 committee meeting a week? Wouldn't it be nice if you could go to 1 troop pack function on 1 night a week? Yeah, that would be awesome, right? We have that. We do 1 night a week. Currently, we are a little bit smaller building, but our plan is always to meet on the same night so that everybody goes in the same night. It's not, sports. Okay, she's got soccer, but this kid really likes baseball, but how much further are they really going to do? My girls all did dance, but now I remember this pyramid that they say that it trickles down. My daughter did 3 years of drill team, and she knows she's not going to do that in college. And now she's trickled down to what she wants to do, and this program is still part of what she's going to do. And I think that if we can have those programs that are connected together and linked with our packs and troops are all linked, but as well as our family is linked, we can stay stronger.
We are grateful to be part of the scouting movement in 2024. The future is bright with our esteemed female scouts. They are going great places, and we are happy to be along for the ride.